We used to look up in the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt.
We must confront the reality that nothing in our solar system can help us.
9.
I've got kids, Professor. How long would I be gone?
8.
I'm asking you to trust me.
7.
Murph. You have to talk to me, Murph.
6.
I need to fix this before I go.
You have no idea when you're coming back.
5. Main engine start.
Couldn't you have told her you were going to save the world?
No.
Christopher and Matthew, thank you very much being with us today in Paris for your new movie, Interstellar. I like it so much, and congratulations, really, Matthew and Christopher, for this one. You remember the first time Christopher speak with you about the movie? You remember how you tried to present the movie?
Well, when he and I first met, we didn't talk about the movie at all. I had gotten a call from my agent saying, Christopher Nolan's got his next film coming up. He's interested in you. I didn't know if that meant possibly interested. I was one of 10, whatever. So he wanted to meet. He and I met at his house, and we sat down for 3 hours and basically talked about
life or
being fathers. You know, I'm a father of 3. He's a father of 4. We talked about family. We're the same age. We talked about films, but we didn't speak one word about Interstellar, nothing about Cooper. And I left that meeting, and I remember going, nice to meet Chris. Had a good talk with him. Not sure what this is about. And about a week later, I got the script delivered to me. So then that's when I first really read something about the film Interstellar.
4.
When you become a parent,
3.
one thing becomes really clear.
2.
And that's that you want to make sure your children feel safe.
1.
I'm coming back.
When?
I love you forever.
Potentially habitable worlds right within our reach.
Could save us from extinction.
Here we go.
I heard a lot of things about the movie. I mean, before to see it, that I was complex to describe the movie, and I don't think so. I mean, it's a great story, just regarding a father trying to save the children. I mean, his children, the son and daughter. You think so? And when you tried to make this movie, it was your first idea?
Yeah, I mean, to me, what drew me to the project was always the relationship between Matthew's character, Cooper, and his children. I'm a father myself, and I just related to it, and I thought it was a powerful, very powerful thing to base this kind of big journey on. I view it as a family film. I grew up in a golden age of blockbusters, you know, films of Lucas and Spielberg, these guys who really knew how to make films that would connect a family, would appeal to various ages, and be very inclusive, but not be soft in some way or pandering. They had all the edge and the ambition that you could hope for, but kids could come and watch them too. And I really wanted to get back to that kind of a sense of what the blockbuster can be.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
I'm not gonna make it.
Yes, you are.
It's amazing for me because it seems to be a blockbuster, a huge movie, and really for me it's like a character-driven movie. I mean, and the characters are important. You think so because you made a lot of independent movies. So, I mean, the envelope seems to be a blockbuster, but in fact it could be an independent movie. I mean, character-driven.
Well, as Chris has said, the human element, the fact that it's about family, a father and a daughter, that's a very simple and conceivable thing. Everyone can understand that. And that's the heartbeat of the film. And you don't, you know, there's a lot of wonderful science in this. This takes us further out into space than we've ever gone. But at the same time, everybody, whether you've been a father, whether you're a father or mother now yourself, we're all children, so we've all had that certain goodbye. We all know that's where everybody unanimously can hook into the story. And then you care much more about the journey we're on.
This world's a treasure, but it's been telling us to leave for a while now.
Your daughter's generation will be the last to survive on Earth. You're the best pilot we ever had. Get out there and save the world.
I like so much the fact it's not a huge morality, you know, through this movie. But you said we have to be careful about the planet, how it could be dangerous for the future if you met nothing for the planet? So it was also your idea, I mean, to do something through the movie?
I wanted audiences to understand why the characters had to leave. And so inevitably you find yourself sort of, you know, preying on the audience's fears, the fears that we all have about what we're doing to the planet, what our relationship is with it. But as far as the specific message in the film, the story doesn't really function that way because, you know, as Michael Caine's character sort of says it, it's like we're not meant to save the planet, we're meant to leave it. In this fictional story, we're really saying there's going to be a point in time where mankind has to move out from the Earth. The Earth is the nest, and mankind evolves and leaves the nest and moves out and reckons with its place in the wider universe. That, for me, was the exciting transitional point, you know, in future history that we're dealing with.
You can't just think about your family. Now you have to think bigger than that.
I am thinking about my family and millions of other families.
Maybe we've spent too long trying to figure all this out with theory.
Love is the one thing that transcends time and space.
We have a mission. Our mission does not work if the people on Earth are dead by the time we pull it off.
Well, we got this far, farther than any human in history.
Oh, not far enough.
Matthew, is kind of childhood dream making a movie like this?
It wasn't a childhood dream. No, I didn't really think about what's out there as a new frontier when I was a child.
Kid, yeah.
Now, as a father, now something that was happening months before I ever looked at the script. My son, who was 4 at the time, was questioning me about space travel. He was questioning me about the solar system. So I was having to explain these things for the first time since I learned them in school, whenever that was. So my sense of wonder was being stoked by my son, and then this script comes along. And I always seem to find some comparison for whatever I'll do where I feel like, there's a reason this is coming along right now. And the fact that, you know, my son had been asking me about these things was part of my incentive for wanting to engage in the material. And also after reading the story, I got a certain sense of pride in saying this is the kind of movie I want to make, that I want my kids to see. That about what it says about the capacity of mankind, about what it says about what we're capable of doing, and exploration, discovery.
Murph is a great kid. She's really bright, but she's been having a little trouble lately. She brought this in to show the other students the section on the lunar landings.
Yeah, that's one of my old textbooks. She always loved the pictures.
It's an old federal textbook. We've replaced them with the corrected versions.
Corrected?
Explaining how the Apollo missions were fake to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
You don't believe we went to the moon?
I believe it was a brilliant piece of propaganda that the Soviets bankrupted themselves, pouring resources into rockets and other useless machines.
Useless machines?
And if we don't want a repeat of the excess and wastefulness of the 20th century, then we need to teach our kids about this planet, not tales of leaving it.
You know, one of those useless machines they used to make was called an MRI. And if we had any of those left, the doctors would have been able to find the cyst in my wife's brain before she died instead of afterwards. And then she'd have been the one sitting there listening to this instead of me, which would have been a good thing because she was always the calmer one.
The education is also, for me, the theme of the movie. It was important, I mean, making good education.
Well, in a broader sense, I think it's a lot about communication, definitely. It's a lot about truth, I suppose. I mean, the scene in the school early on is, I think, a very important one to the themes of the film, when, you know, Cooper is confronted by his daughter's teacher who's denying that the moon landings ever took place, and that's the world they're living in. And I think that immediately sort of sets the terms in the sense of saying, you know, history can be rewritten, can be covered over or whatever, and the importance of not allowing that to happen, the importance of passing on knowledge and building on human experience and human knowledge. Because I think ultimately the film is about human evolution. It's suggesting what might be the next great step in human evolution, which would be off the planet, and that's going to require knowledge, the cumulative knowledge of an entire species and civilization, and we can't lose knowledge as we go. We have to build on it and build on it and build on it. And I think that is the sort of outwards journey, really, of the human race in the film.
Hooray!
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You might have to decide between seeing your children again and the future of the human race.
We'll find a way.
So you have exactly the vision of the movie in your mind during the shooting, always?
Not too specifically. I like to involve everybody. I like to get the actors there, see how they want to move through a scene. I'll have certain ideas about how I want to shoot it, but I want my director of photography, my actors, everybody, you want to find things on the day. It's what keeps it interesting and what keeps it being more than I could just think of. Because anything I put into it is one man's, brain power, one man's creativity. If you can get hundreds of people all focusing on the same thing, focusing their energy on the same thing, there's just so much more you can do. And so I try to have an idea of what I need and what the story needs, but then every day you're looking for something new, you're looking for something fresh from the people you're working with.
So the most important thing for you is working with the actors, in fact, not only the shooting with special effects or something like that, it's working with the actors.
Definitely. I mean, the human element is what keeps the audience interested in films, in a story. It's what keeps me interested in making films. I think it's fascinating. I mean, what these guys do is amazing and mysterious to me, and I hope it always remains mysterious.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm gonna give it something socially responsible to do.
Can't we just let it go?
This thing needs to learn how to adapt, Murph.
Gang, let's mask up.
Like the rest of us.
Matthew, you made some research before shooting, or not really? And Christopher asked to you to make some research, or not at all?
Yes, I mean, there was time I spent with Kip Thorne, the astrophysicist, just to sort of understand some broad strokes of the plausibilities scientifically that are in this film. I talked to astronauts. I think the first book you handed me was The Right Stuff.
Yeah.
You were like, look at the chapter 1 with Yeager.
Yeah.
As a pilot, his voice, etc. And then, I mean, daily, I was trying to get in his mind daily to go, okay, what are the rules of this geography? And I need to know as an actor, but I also need to know as the pilot. I have a crew to take care of. And that was my favorite conversations, our back and forth.
Oh yeah, he was to me like his son is to him. He's like, why?
Yeah.
Wait a second, why?
Lots of questions.
Nothing taken for granted. But I enjoy that. I mean, as a director, particularly as a writer-director, it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you thinking about why you did a thing in the first place. Because, I mean, the funny thing is, when you're on set with your script, it's quite often many, many months since you wrote the scene. And it's actually a very good thing to be brought right back into the whys and wherefores of, okay, how did that scene come about? What is that scene intended to be doing?
76, you are go.
To make the unknown known. We count these moments as our proudest achievements.
Having fired the imagination of a generation.
But we lost all that.
Pulls into port for the last time.
Or perhaps we've just forgotten that we are still pioneers, that we've barely begun, and that our greatest accomplishments cannot be behind us, because our destiny lies above us.
What was the most difficult thing for you to do on this movie? Was something special? Not really.
Well, for me, I mean, creatively, the biggest challenge was definitely trying to visualize things that in the script were very abstract, very complex and difficult to imagine how we would shoot it. When I write on the script, I try not to write as a director. I try not to know too much about how I'm going to make the film, so I don't want to limit the writing. And then when it's done, as a director, you come to it and you look at it, you say, I have no idea how to visualize this, no idea how we're going to do this. But that's where you get your team together, and you all thrash it around, you talk about it, and you try things, and you try things. And the visual effects side of things is very tricky on this film. A lot of stuff I'd never done before. I'm trying to get a feeling of reality. Well, really, the space flight for me, things like the black hole that is in the film. You know, it's the kind of thing that's been done in films before, so you're looking for a fresh take on it. But we were also looking to try and do it in a way that was scientifically real and credible, and that's where our executive producer Kip Thorne came in, because he was able to give us the actual equations for how a black hole would look, how its gravity would affect the light and space-time around it, give that to our visual effects guys, and they could render the black hole to look the way it apparently would in real life.
We must confront the reality of interstellar travel.
Murph, I love you forever.
Do you have the George Lucas movie or Kubrick movie or Alfonso Cuarón movie like reference, and you try to forget immediately those movies?
Well, Alfonso, I sheepishly admitted to him last year at dinner that I'm the only person who hasn't seen this film, because it came out while we were actually shooting, so I didn't want to confuse myself with it. As far as the great masterpieces of the past, like Star Wars in 2001, The Right Stuff, all these great movies, I took the attitude that you have to just be inspired by these films. You can't pretend they don't exist. So I didn't want to avoid things that they had taken on. I wanted to just embrace that. I wanted to just be inspired by them and take what they'd done and try and build on it and run with it. And that's what we've done.
Here we go.
3.
Am I gonna make it?
Yes, you are.
2.
I have no idea when you're coming back.
1. I love you forever, and I'm coming back.
It's very exciting for me, as not only as a journalist, but as an audience, as a viewer, because I have 50 years, and I know you a long time. So since Mud, Magic Mike, Dallas Buyers Club, and this one, it seems to be for me a new start. I mean, when I saw you now in the movie like this, for you too, I mean, it's maybe a new career, the beginning of a new career.
Same career. I look at it as the same career. Let me say this: one of the first piece of wisdom I heard when I got to Hollywood, Don Phillips tells me, it was like, if you had to tell me one thing, and I'm just getting started, don't even have my first job out here in Hollywood, he goes, lean horse, long ride. I mean, I feel like this is, I'm not even at halftime of my career, so whatever movements that I've made or been perceived to have made, I don't know, I take a much longer, wider view that this is just part of the current. And the evolution, if it keeps moving forward and I get to keep doing what I love doing, those movements won't seem as...
No, but people always ask actors as if every part was open to them for their whole career. Like, you look at what he's doing in Interstellar. I mean, I didn't say this to you the other day when you were asked if you could have played this role 10 years ago, but I certainly would have found it very difficult to not cast a father, someone of the appropriate age and experience, because I feel like that's something. Obviously, I think great actors can do anything.
And it's more mature, now maturity.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, to bring all that to bear. So I think there are certainly from the filmmaker point of view, from the director point of view, it's like different things open up as an actor gains more experience. It's just a question of maturing. The same way I take on different films as I get older as well.
Thank you very much, both of you, and congratulations, really, because I'm like so much this week. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.